We're going to try and not talk at this screen because that'll be fun to you guys if you're live, and that's who's important right now. But anyway, tonight we are going to talk to you guys about a class that we are really passionate about. As much as we love talking specifically about oils or certain areas in your life where you can utilize any of the Young Living products, tonight is about the Seed to Seal, which is a guarantee. And like it says, it's not a slogan, it's our calling. And that really hits home for me because beyond just saying and being words that comes out of Gary's mouth or somebody else that you might have heard of in Young Living, it is, something that you can trust because in our family, the amount that we use these oils and products, if you don't have that guarantee, then even your thought process of wondering if it's going to work is going to change how it works. And so, and Lisa will really touch on that here in a minute because she got some good information just recently. My name is Jessica Span, for those of you that don't know me. I've been in Young Living just over 5 years now. I'm a massage therapist by trade, and then of course a mommy by night and a wife by night and all that kind of stuff. And so they are utilized in my practice just about every single day for all kinds of stuff. And of course in my family this weekend, for some reason, my kids just decided to eat things that really didn't agree with them. So we use them very frequently this weekend. So, but we are definitely going to talk about hopefully it's helpful tonight. So. Yes, and you guys really have.
Yeah, but Seed to Seal, that's what really drove it home for me because with my medical background, I was a little OCD about deciding first what essential oils were and if they were worth my time, which they are. And second, what company, because every company says that they're the best. What makes one company different than the other? So I'm sure you guys have all heard my story of me calling the top 5 essential oil companies in the US and just had a list of about 30 questions and just asked the customer representatives. And Young Living was the only company that answered all my questions and gave me the addresses to the farms. Go here, go here, go here. So it really made a big difference. And then going to the actual Mona farm a few years ago, it was just like an aha moment for me. So we can't wait. We're both getting to go this summer. It's going to be lots of fun. Yes. So the Seed to Seal is an amazing opportunity. If you guys ever get to go to any of the farms, it doesn't matter what time of year, they will show you all the different processes that they're in at that farm, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get started.
So all the essential oils companies out there, like Lily said, why would you want to choose Young Living and what makes Young Living stand out? It's pretty simple. Young Living is the world leader in essential oils, and we believe that our family deserves to harvest the benefits of nature every day without compromise. Our commitment to purity and stewardship is embodied in a unique proprietary process we call Seed to Seal. No other company can match what Young Living does to ensure the purity and potency of the high-quality essential oils.
Absolutely. And just seeing the farms again firsthand, but just hearing the stories of how they would scrape off the topsoil to make sure they could preserve the best soil for making plants grow and then build your buildings. Like there's so many stories, you're like, they don't have to do that. Why would they do that? Because the quality of the oils is so important. So we're going to go through the Seed to Seal step-by-step process for you guys tonight so that even if you had questions or if one of your friends has questions later on down the road, you will be empowered with that information.
So what is Seed to Seal? Anybody? We've kind of touched on it, and you guys may have heard a little bit about each of the steps that is involved in Seed to Seal. If you guys were to guess, which one do you think might be the most important?
They all. I like that answer too. There you go.
Absolutely. It's a strict quality control process that ensures authenticity in every bottle or package. Essential oils can inspire you to a life of wellness, purpose, and abundance because from the moment the first seed is sown until the oil is sealed in the bottle, the Seed to Seal process ensures our oils meet the highest possible standards.
Absolutely. I want to touch on something real quick because it starts with seed, but even before seed, the ground is so important. It's important that farmlands have not previously been used at all, especially with herbicides, pesticides, and chemicals, because those residuals, even years later, will be in those plants. Let's see. So with Young Living, they make sure that all their farmland was either farmed very clean or has never been cultivated for at least 50 years, which is amazing. So like with the Ecuador farm, they went through and it was a rainforest that they gifted to them. So that's how we actually found some of our new plants that make oils. And then with the Mona farm, nobody had ever farmed that before. It was a Northern Lights farm that's in Canada now. it was just woods. So it's amazing the importance of that for sure. And I know there's even plans to be moving one of our farms because the government is going to make it a direct pathway for an airport. And they were like, we don't want that on our plans. So they're moving a farm. Like, how crazy is that? It's so important, the ground to start with, for sure. And there's even the instances that we've heard of Gary making sure that the pH and the enzymes are correct in the soil, where they spray diatoms on the ground of all places to make sure that the land was prepared properly for those seeds so they could grow into the plants that we love so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So the first step, seeds. Superior seeds equals superior plants, and that is absolutely what we want to take advantage of. Powerful, effective essential oils come from seeds and plants that are verified for their potential to produce high quality essential oils. Our essential oils come from plant species that have been authenticated by Young Living and industry experts. We nurture our seedlings in a protected greenhouse before transferring them to the field. Sometimes we have to wait for over a year, but it's a small sacrifice to produce excellent essential oils.
So we've got an amazing website that's called Seed to Seal for all of us to be able to learn from, and we wanted to show those videos because I've heard about it forever and I've been watching videos. So it's really got some great information in it for sure.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, it's working.
I know, we did like 2 seconds ago. No, not like that. Technical error.
Seed. In partnering with agricultural experts, we select seeds and plants with superior potential to produce powerful, effective essential oils.
Welcome to the Young Living Farm here in Mona, Utah. This is where our Seed to Seal story really begins. And this is an exciting time of the year. It's an exciting place to work and to be. It's here in the greenhouse. This year we propagated 1.7 million lavender starts that will be going into the field while you're here. You get to participate in planting some of these.
She's there.
Every part of producing a pure, genuine therapeutic grade essential oil begins right here in the seed selection, then in the planting in the greenhouse, developing the plants, and then going into the field. One of the things that is very specific, and the standard that I have set, is not just in planting the seed and how we do it, but it's in the seed selection. Before harvest, I have 6 of our field workers that go through the lavender, and they see the plants that are the strongest growing plants, that have taller spikes, the lush, beautiful, deep colors, whether it's a white or a light blue or a deep purple. And because of that seed selection that's so important to, again, the quality of the essential oil. And once that seed is selected after harvest, then it's brought here to the greenhouse, we go through the cleaning process, and then the planting begins the first part of March. And so from seed to harvest is a 3.5-year cycle. So every year we're planting, this year will be 150 acres of lavender. And we average about 50 acres a year in the past, but now we're doubling that because of our growth. Young Living holds every one of our partner growers to the same standard. And we maintain the same standard on all of our farms worldwide, all 11 of them, and growing. We're proud of what we have and see this great journey of the seed to seal process. Young Living, the world leader in essential oil.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We got to see, I mean, we went through the whole farm, but then they had all the seedlings and they were giving out lavender seedlings. I do not agree with them, and I was like, are you sure? I can plant it too. Such a real car. And I was like, somebody's with this plant. But it was so cool because they're like, okay, come back in 3 years, you can harvest your exact plant. And, you know, the ones that you guys planted. That was so cool to be a part of that, for sure.
Well, and I think what in this video that really touched me was that he said that people go out and look for the plant that has the best qualities, and it's not like they just make one massive swoop and just take all the seeds and run with it. If they're particular, they, have, innate intelligence that can help them discern what's the best for us. And I don't know if you noticed, but when they were planting, he wasn't using some tool or some plastic. They were using a stick. And that's what, God intended, because he created that stick. So, just that whole process just continues to go right into the simple process of planting a seed.
Yeah, for sure. When we were learning about quantum physics, when we were at our parents' and they were talking about just the importance of the people that are working the farms. They even told a story of how there were two farm workers that were fighting in the fields, and Gary ran up and was like, don't do it, stop. And he went and he took a sample and distilled the plant, and there was no oil. So he made them go back to the farm where they were arguing and say sorry, and he went and retested that plant, and then there was oil again. It's so crazy.
Everything chills.
It's so crazy, everything that goes into it, but they don't have to put into it. But we want that quality, so we're going to take it up to that next level. Absolutely. So next is cultivate.
Young Living farms located around the globe are dedicated to perfecting our responsible and sustainable growing and harvesting methods. Soil preparation, balance of sun and water, and responsible weed and pest control ensure our stringent standards are met.
Absolutely. So we don't ever use, even by organic standards, they have to use a certain amount of pesticides and chemicals. They're just the organic ones. Young Living doesn't do that. They will actually use essential oils that didn't meet standard to spray the floral water or the pesticide and the herbicide. So they're never ever using any chemicals. They go and they pull the weeds by hand. What I love too is talking about cultivating. We are the only company that has now domesticated helichrysum, which was awesome. They had actually stopped all harvesting of helichrysum because it was becoming endangered. The same thing with Palo Santo. It's amazing I lost the word, but the stewardship of the planet and of the plants that what we're conservatorship. Thank you. That's where I was working. It's so cool.
Well, in Rosewood,
yeah.
That was one of the ones that was on the endangered species list. And Gary went in and made an agreement and a pact with them that said, okay, if we can come in and utilize all the stumps and tree trunks and things of the dead rosewood that you guys already have, and we go in and start the process of beginning to replant all of that, and and they were like, absolutely. So how cool is it that his intent is not to cause a plant to go extinct, but to continue and even maybe return it off of the endangered species list.
For sure. Well, and because of what we've done in Ecuador with not only the farms but the community and just giving back so much, the Peruvian government actually gave us land too. They're like, can you please do the same thing as you did in Ecuador here? And that means a lot, I think, for sure. Question, thank you. This is so cool.
Cultivate. Young Living farms located around the globe provide an ongoing source for essential oils that meet Young Living's demanding quality standards. Our experts also travel the world, visiting our co-op farms to verify that their growing and cultivating processes match our rigorous standards.
Young Living's standard for oil quality supersedes any production or wildcrafting standard in the world because we've taken it to that higher level. And that's why we're so proud of what we do, and that's why I invest the money I do in our farming, so we can be sure that the oil that you have, the oil that you're putting on your family, your children, your loved ones, is the finest and the highest quality, genuine therapeutic oil that exists in the world, without question. I'm walking here in the goldenrod field, and this is one of our aromatic plants that is really beautiful. When you come, This goldenrod is going to be almost double the size, and for some of you it'll be at the top of your head, and then others will be at your chin. It grows extremely fast, and it's a beautiful plant. To my knowledge, this is the only domesticated, cultivated goldenrod farm in the world. Part of the work here at the farm is cultivation that's really important for all plants. You contend with Mother Nature and the weeds and grasses that come with it. And here, as you're walking the fields, you're going to see weeds. And you want to be thankful for that, because that tells you that we're not using the toxic glucophosphates found in chemical sprays for weed control. So a big part of cultivation is not just weed management and weed control, but it's also soil aeration. The better that you can feed the plant, the better the oil is going to be. And that's why Young Living's essential oils are so powerful. And the best quality you'll find in the world is because of the effort that we put in to maintaining good quality soil management through our cultivation system. Enzymes are perhaps the most critical element in the soil in raising a plant, because the enzymes help the plant to be able to take up the nutrients, minerals, vitamins, proteins, everything that that plant needs. Even the conversion of the carbon dioxide, the oxygen, the water, all of that is facilitated by enzymes. So keeping the soil rich in enzymes is so important. There's another element that goes into our fields that I haven't mentioned, that I believe is just as important as enzymes. Our employees, and only the employees that love their job and love working with the plants, work in the fields, because that love, as you know, is the activating force of all healing. They give their love to these plants just in their work and their energy. These folks that work here in all of our farms know what is important and why it is important. So with that said, I invite you now to jump on the bus. We're going to go up to the lavender field, and you're going to get to plant your very own lavender. It's an exciting time as we grow and go into the future.
So the next step is to distill. This is so cool to see in the summertime when we go up to the farm. They were actually distilling juniper, I think, when we were up juniper, yeah, when we were up there, and not this past summer, but the summer before, and they were actually having a floral water runoff. We were taking off all our shoes and like bathing. I mean, they fill jacuzzis with it for farm workers. Like, it's amazing what they do. Because a lot of companies, that is their essential oil. They sell the floral water, and so it was nice. We had little vials. Yeah. But well, if you bring a container, you can take some home. I was like, whoop! I got a pack in my pocket.
Yeah. We use a gentle technique for steam extracting essential oils and preserving their precious constituents. Young Living's proprietary low temperature, low pressure steam distillation process ensures that the beneficial plant compounds in every batch of oil remain uncompromised during the extraction process. We've already said we would love to go. I would love to go and see the farm, and it would be really cool. I mean, Golden Still's been out, the goldenrod's been out of stock forever. I'm like, they can distill that while I'm there. That sounds good to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I wanted to give an example because I like examples. Like, what does this really mean to me? Low pressure, blah, 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 blah. So cypress is a great example. Young Living has found after lots of testing that you're supposed to distill it for 24 hours at 245 degrees and 5 pounds of pressure. That gives you all 280 active chemical constituents and properties that make it a therapeutic healing oil. If you distill it for less than 22 hours, you only get 18 to 20 of the primary therapeutic constituents there at all. And then if you distill it over 26 hours, there's 0 constituents that are going to be healing for our body. So it will still smell pretty, but it's not going to do anything for us. And the vast majority of companies that make essential oils, they'll do it like for perfume grade or food grade or whatever. They do high temperature, lots of pressure, really, really fast, and then we do multiple distillations. Young Living only does one distillation, Even though the second through fourth distillation might smell prettier and more potent, only that first distillation has those therapeutic qualities. So that's what's so important to know about that. And then if you want to get the screen back up, I want to show you.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I was going to show you that when you, on the cookers, you can see how they are kind of like peaked, or like dome shaped. Kind of like a little triangle at the top. Gary actually, designed it that way because most of them were rounded and it was like turbulent. The moisture and the steam was just going around and around and we were losing a lot of those chemical constituents. So he actually made it that way so that it'll go straight up and you'll be able to extract more of the oil, which is pretty cool. And it's all medical grade stainless steel. I've seen lots of companies that will just use whatever, or indigenous people in their little cookers in the yard, and that's not okay. Because aluminum or tin or whatever that can is made out of is not in that oil. So it's really important to know even the containers. And we only use water. And guess what? To clean, we only use water too. We don't use those chemicals, even though it costs like $10,000 more, I think is what they said, per cleaning cycle to not use those chemicals. Again, Young Living is taking that step above and beyond to make sure that none of our oils are ever compromised. Oh, go ahead. Okay, I'm going to give another example real quick of distilling and the plant cost. Because we're like, rose? Why is rose so expensive? It takes 5,000 pounds of rose petals to make 1 5 ml bottle of rose essential oil, like pure essential oil. And then it takes 6,000 pounds of Melissa to make 1 pound of Melissa essential oil. And it takes 2,000 pounds of cypress to make 1 pound of cypress essential oil. So it just depends on the quantity of plant material that's needed. That's why citrus oils are so much cheaper. They give up their oil a lot easier.
well,
So-
and those are also cold pressed.
Right, for sure. So it's important to know, quality, you are paying for what you're getting for sure. Because I saw like rose geranium mix or whatever for like $4. I was like, what? No.
Yeah, not like.
Well, and we've had lots of friends that have had really adverse reactions and chemical burns and all kinds of nastiness. So you need to know the quality and be able to trust the oils that you're putting on your body for sure.
Distill. With our cutting-edge fusion of ancient and modern techniques, Young Living is recognized as an innovator in essential oil distillation.
The amount of people that go into helping do all this is just crazy.
We use a gentle, proprietary steam extraction technique for distilling the most effective essential oils, as well as using cold pressing and resin tapping methods for select oils.
Now, I'm really excited because here in Highland, we innovated the first time in the world of a distillery being completely computerized. You're going to see that here in Utah today as you're visiting the distillery, as we have taken it to another step here that is even more exciting. Also, cameras that are being installed, so I can monitor the distillation from my iPhone any place in the world. So that's a big part of it that you'll get to watch while you're here today.
I was going to say something. Oh, I already mentioned that Dorado azul is considered a weed, and Young Living brought it to the world of botany or whatever, so that's good. And then another thing that's really important too is that having people on staff that have the nose to be able to smell certain constituents and healing properties in plants, because a lot of times, like Gary will just go out and be exploring land for new farms and he'll just start smelling things. It's like, ooh, we need to try that one. Ooh, we need to try that one. And there's less than 200 people in the world that are recognized who would have those like super smellers for that. So I think that's really cool too.
That's really
Because
cool.
that's how we find weeds and we get new oils.
Yeah, absolutely. So testing, this just blows my mind whenever you talk about the amount of technology that they will and are willing to utilize just for us to make sure that it is, you can't really say exactly the same, but the chemical constituents that are primary for us to make things the way they should be each time is the same. So, we value authenticity in our essential oils so much that we make sure every step of the process is followed with precision and integrity. This is especially important when testing the purity and potency of our essential oils after the distillation. Each batch of essential oil is sent through 6 rigorous tests and compared to establish quality benchmarks. First of which is gas chromatography. No, there's a T in that. There you go. Thank you. Measures the percentage of constituents, plant chemicals in the oils. Mass spectrometer identifies the names of each constituent in the oil. Refractive index measures the density of the oil using a concentrated beam of light. Specific gravity measures how heavy the oil is as compared to water. Flash point ignites the oil and tests it against standard flash temperatures. Optical rotation, measuring the molecular structure of the oil. These tests can quickly determine if an oil has been subjected to dilution, cutting, or adulterated process. Oils that have exhibited even the slightest hint of a possible adulteration or tampering are rejected. Additionally, tests confirm that optimal level of beneficial constituents is present in each batch. Any oils that do not meet established levels are discarded. Young Living only seals and ships oils that meet both purity and potency standards. Young Living uses its own internal labs in addition to third-party audits to verify that Young Living's purity and potency standards are met.
Yeah, and it was so cool too. When we were at the farms, they say they test from the start when oil starts being produced every 15 minutes. They're testing during the distillation process to make sure that those chemical constituents are present. And then as soon as the levels drop, they stop distilling that plant, which is really cool.
But then initially when they're starting to distill it, I think he talks about figuring out when it has its optimal.
Right.
And then knowing from that point forward, a plant needs to be distilled for X number,
The pressure and the time of day, even the time of year.
how long it sits in the sun. I mean,
Before we get in oil, it takes a really long time for them to study those new plants. We had Dr. Is it Carlson that's over research and development? It starts with a C, I believe. Anyways, the dude that's over research and development right now. He was very nice. He talked for 3 hours when we were at the Live to Garden event. Just in that one department, it's over $1 million worth of equipment. And they're testing every single oil. And they're even, especially the oils that we get from our partner farms, even though we are there constantly observing and constantly working there with them, they want to make sure, because sometimes we try to get some slip so they can make more money.
well, and they said that they had a batch recently of something that had way too many weeds in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Well, and they burn down every single sample, even to the hydrogen and oxygen compounds, to make sure that's what it says it is. So they go just above and beyond, which is so cool.
And they are also expanding our lab
Yes,
from 3,000 square feet to 7,000 square feet.
I believe so.
Yeah,
They're
as we
always
speak.
expanding.
Yes, so that we can get a new technology that's like twice as big.
Mhm.
as-
Well, and the GCMS, which is what she was talking about, the first 2 machines put together. I think the initial one was like there was a standard of how long those tubes were, so you can see all the chemical constituents that are in it. And Gary was like, I know there's more chemical constituents, so we can't see them because they're lining up behind each other. So then he made one that was like 3 or 4 times the length, and we are the only ones. He actually, the guy that's over research and development was the guy that was working at that company with that machine. He hired him away from that company to build a bigger, better machine for Young Living, which was really cool. I wish I remember his name. I think it's Carlson. But that's just so neat because we're like, I mean, we want those big toys. Let's go do this. How much better can we make it? Which is what I like. Next. Is this the last one?
No, there's test this one and then seal.
Test. Okay. This is test.
Test. We never accept diluted, cut, or adulterated oils.
So as soon as the oil starts coming off the separator, we have one of our lab people pull samples and bring them here to the lab. This is another aspect of Young Living that sets us apart from everybody else in the world, because we test our oils right on location where they're being distilled. Now, why is that important to me? As a grower of the plants and a distillator of the plants for oil, I need to be able to study that oil and really identify the right time for the harvest as well as the right time for distillation. I can only do that by pulling samples every 15 minutes and bringing them up here, injecting them into our auto sampler that goes into the GC. If we come over here to this little demo board that we put together for teaching, that's what we tried to create here. This is a symbol of the column that we're looking at back here in the oven. So by testing the oil, particularly on new plants that we're discovering for the first time, we will run actually hundreds of tests to determine the best time of the year, the best time of the harvest, the best time of the day for the harvest, and then there's another part of it. How long does that plant material lay on the deck before it's actually distilled? All these are variables that will affect the plant and the maturity time to create the richest oil that can be extracted. Only through the testing and the analysis can we discover that. Young Living is in charge of every single oil that's distilled because we want the highest quality that can be afforded in the world. And that's our commitment to our seed to seal process. And this is part of it. So a laboratory where we can do the GC, the mass spec, the optimal rotation factor, all of these are so critical in being able to produce the highest quality essential oil in the world without question. Young Living, the seed to seal process. Thank you.
There you go. And then so next, and the final step is the sealing process. With Young Living, we don't add anything. Nothing's ever adulterated. If it is a blend, then there is a carrier oil added to that. Yeah,
Not
or even
all of
a couple, yeah, not even all of them. But like I think, is it deeply?
All the roll-ons.
The roll-ons
have
have
carriers.
in them.
Let's see, Struts Away, Valor. There may be a couple others,
Mhm.
but for the most part, blends don't even
Yeah.
have a carrier oil.
Yeah, but it's all stated for sure. But and then we're not even putting them through. What was the word that I was looking for? I can't remember. Something else is gone. Sorry, folks. I didn't put my clarity or anything on today. I should have done it. But literally, the oils they only touch a medical grade stainless steel or glass until they reach those bottles. They're not sitting in plastic containers or anything like that where they could actually corrode the container and get those properties into the oil. And then it's automatically sealed. But that's what's so important though with Young Living. It's not going from place to place to place to place and then you're hoping that you get what they say. We know because of the quality testing that is what's exactly in our bottles.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love, and you guys may know this, is that every bottle of essential oil has a barcode on it as well as an identification number. So at any point, for whatever reason, if you feel that something has been tampered with between you and Young Living, you can call them and give them that identification number and they can trace where that may have occurred. And I think that's kind of a cool deal because it's like they could tell you, well, this bottle was from these trees in this country and they were distilled at this time and this, and I mean, that in itself just kind of is like,
So cool.
Mhm.
Well, and what's really neat too is that from time to time we'll have oils that will smell slightly different
yes.
because every year the plants are different because there's different conditions that they're growing in. Might be more sun, might be more rain, this or that. I know that the grapefruit recently has been really dark, and they're like, actually, this is an amazing thing because blah 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 constituent is so much stronger this year. So it's nice because of the testing, then they know immediately if there's something that is at a different ratio than normal. But there's always those standards that are kept at all times. There was actually peppermint like 2 or 3 years ago, that smelled completely different.
Oh, yes.
Did it smell like spearmint? It smelled like,
Pepperminty. Peppery. It had a very different peppermint.
but they were like, this is actually amazing because even better for cardiovascular support or something like that. I was like, I want about all of them because everybody's like, we're sending it back. I'm like, let me buy it from you. I want that.
Well,
Please give it to me.
and the Melissa, what do you call it? The most recent Melissa that was supposed to be sold this year had such a harsh winter that the size of the plant itself was drastically different, like to the point where it was a third the size of normal. But they said the chemical constituents in that Melissa was more potent than any oils that they had ever distilled before.
Yeah.
And so when we heard that, we were like, where's my bottle?
Yeah.
We must have
And
this.
if you can add formula, you'll get multi-greens because the melissa oil is in
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Which is great. I'm always looking for the ways that I can get those precious oils that I might not be able to buy, one bottle of, but I'll get the supplements all day, every day.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to play that last
Yes.
video and then go on to the part?
I think we have to do this
Oh, I do have to do that.
before we start playing it.
It's trying, it's thinking. Okay. Oh, snap. The last one and it bumped on me. Stop.
We're working with an Apple TV this time. It's our first time. It's pretty neat. They can play it off the iPad.
Cultivate. Young Living Farms, located around the globe, provide an ongoing source for essential oils that meet Young Living's demanding quality standards. Our experts also travel the world,
Feel.
visiting our co-op farms to verify.
I was like, it's pretty cool that I was playing it with you on your screen.
This should seal.
Seal. Using state-of-the-art equipment, each essential oil is carefully bottled in protected glass bottles, ready to arrive at your doorstep as pure and natural as the carefully cultivated plants from which they were distilled.
Here we are in the bottling lab, and this is the final step before your oils arrive at your doorstep. Now, one of the things that I just want to back up a little bit, explain to you, when the oils come out of the separators in the distillery, they go into these stainless steel drums. You need to know that Young Living oils, from the time they go in the extraction chamber until they go into your bottle, only touch stainless steel or glass. So the oils go into the stainless steel drums, they're brought into the, what we call the decanting and filtering lab, where they're put through the stainless steel containers, stainless steel pipe, going into glass separation funnels. We're able to control with the petcock here the amount of oil that drips out, where we can separate the finest oil droplet until we capture only the oil that we bring over here. This is not our main production lab, naturally, but in our distilleries in Utah, here in Highland, St. Mary's, and Ecuador, we have a simple bottle capping and labeling assembly set up. So when our distributors come for the harvest, they love to come here in the production lab and simply fill the bottles, put the caps on, and then spin the label. So they get to experience, when they come to the harvest, and I'm going to say this, when you come to the harvest, you get to experience the entire seed to still process. Folks, this is what makes Young Living extremely special and extra special. Not just because I say so, but because we live it. We don't talk it, we live it. We practice what we preach. So my quest is we, Young Living, will always be pioneering and setting the highest standards that exist in the world today. Young Living, seed to still process, our commitment and dedication to quality for you.
And it's so cool too that we're always doing ongoing plant research. When we went to the Lipton Farm event, they alluded that there were going to be a couple new oils for us this year. You guys live a bottle. So that's so amazing because there's always, they said in our Healing Oils of Bible class that we teach, God's made everything that we need. So there's got to be plants. There's tons, I'm sure, hundreds of thousands of plants that we don't even know about yet. So, but it's so cool that we get to have those new plants from time to time. So we wanted to show you some of the farms from around the globe. Let's see, this is a picture, but one of the really new ones is up in the Northern Lights, Canada, and then Croatia is where we have our Gila Prism. And then now there's a partner apartments in Hawaii. Oh my goodness, I love that. And
Yeah.
but it's always continually, building up new farms because they're living again is trying to stay ahead of the growth curve and grow the plants in the best environment for that plant. They try to grow frankincense here, even on the same longitudinal latitude line. I don't know if that's which one. But it wouldn't work. So we had to have a farm in Oman. Like they're always constantly seeing where those plants grow best, and then we get new parts from it, which is cool. So this is a picture.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. What?
Which one?
No, go back where you were.
You talk.
Yes. This is the moment you talk. Oh,
It's being persnickety.
that's okay. I can just talk.
There you go.
This is what's so cool too, and this is a picture. There's a 5K that we get to run.
The base.
Oh, the band's here. That we can run around the lavender fields. Oh my goodness, yes, please. Like the lavender and clary sage and goldenrod, and it's so amazing. Yeah, like smells.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so cool. It's just such a cool experience.
They even recently started growing einkorn in there.
Yes, and the einkorn was like as tall as I was. It was like they had the big, huge, humongous horses, and the horses could barely see over it. It was so
You all know what einkorn is, right? And how different it is? Nope, we don't have.
Ooh. Okay, so einkorn is an ancient grain. The problem with wheat nowadays in America is that it's so genetically modified, our bodies cannot recognize it as food. It has like 42 chromosomes or something like that. And when it's supposed to have 12. So Gary was in another country in Europe, gallivanting around the world trying to find more oils, more plants. And he noticed, he was like, okay, well, there's wheat. That looks like wheat, but it's too tall. What is that? And he pulled off to the side of the road and found a farmer who asked, what is this? And he was like, well, that's the American wheat that we grow, and this is our wheat. And this is in a country where they don't have celiac, they don't have IBS, they don't have all those gut issues. They're like, we will not eat that American wheat because it's so genetically modified, it causes health issues.
Well, and what was crazy is like at a convention last year, they showed us like an actual video of somebody like harvesting or picking up like the wheat that we eat, the standardized wheat, and they literally took the wheat and like, and it would not fall apart. It just stayed looking exactly the same. Whereas you take the einkorn and you put it in your hand, and all you do is just like this, and it just crumbles. So just think about putting that into our bodies, how differently we're going to digest something that was meant to be broken down as opposed to something that's supposed to survive on our shelves forever.
Well, and he said, as I was learning about, this was 2 years ago at convention, as I was learning about all these ancient grains, he started buying from all the sources that he could, the split and the einkorn and things, and he's like, they were all chromosomally the same. They were not what I had experienced over in the country. So that's when he went and made an agreement with that country to get some einkorn and to start growing it and just to see the difference in it. But it's like conventional wheat versus einkorn. Like it's so different because it's not genetically modified to withstand winds where it's grown. So it's amazing. They said even people that have suffered some of those horrible GI issues and diseases, they're still able to eat the einkorn small amounts.
Yeah, I would
Very
say that the
slowly,
gluten factor in traditional Americanized wheat is somewhere around 27, and I think einkorn is like 1.5 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Even those of us that are trying to be gluten-free, we can still eat that. So we've got the spaghetti and the flour and the pancake mix now and all kinds of stuff. He was like, well, of course I found it. I could not make a product for you guys. Because that convention was a 20th year convention. So the whole convention, they were writing like about how there was 28 new products, and like the R&D department was freaking out. They're like, nobody ever gets this many products. And he's like, well, if I know better, I have to do better. I make it for my family. Why not make it for y'all? So it was kind of funny. So this is in Highland Flats, Idaho, and they actually use those horses to pull out those trees in some of the areas because it might, this tree might be ready to harvest, but this tree's not, and they don't want to risk having, machine fluids and all this kinds of stuff on the ground. They actually use those horses. So they're at the farms and they're pretty, but they're actually work horses. We have a group called the Roughnecks. It's like the men folk in her early team because they were like, well, the women get to go on a fun beauty school and all this stuff. What do we get to do? So they made the Roughnecks group. And they went and they just harvested in Idaho and also in Canada. And it was really cool to see the videos. Yeah, to see the videos of that because they worked hard. that they were using the Florida water from the distilling in the jacuzzis, and they're like, "But we weren't even Florida next day. We were in summertime." So it was really cool to see those videos and hear those stories.
Highland Flats distills Idaho balsam fir, western cedar fir, pine, blue spruce, and some other conifers.
And that was, again, land that was given to Young Living. Please cultivate this and take care of it, which is pretty neat. Yes,
This is the first farm.
yes.
This 200-acre pristine farmland was Gary Young's first farm purchase and where Young Living started. The farm grows botanical such as lavender, melissa, and tansy.
What's so cool too is Young Living really, like Gary was starting his process of learning about essential oils and cultivating and distilling even 10 years before they opened Young Living. So it's like a 30-year-old company. It's not just 20, 21, 22. It's like 30 plus years. So it's not a company that's jumped on the bandwagon in the last 7 or 8 years. Let's go make some money. You know, they've been cultivating and growing those farms.
Well, and what's crazy is I'm sure you've heard the story about how we got our first lavender, right?
Yes.
We brought it back from France in
Kind of
his
smuggled it.
boot. And he started growing it and taking care of it and nurturing it and doing everything that Gary Young would do with all of his intuition. And he went back and they were like, this is even more powerful than what we have over here. Where did you get this? And he was like, I grew it. And so, I mean, it's just.
Well, and a couple years ago, they were talking about at the 20th anniversary how there was some horrible parasite or something that had gone through and killed all the lavender and most of the lavender in France. And the Lavender Growers Association of France actually came to Young Living and said, can we please have some seeds so that we can repopulate France? Because otherwise there would not be any true lavender left in France. Which is pretty cool. Very cool. I cannot say that word. Ecuador?
Yeah, yes. The lush fertile soil of, I think it's Guajira, creates a superb environment to grow unique and rare botanicals such as eucalyptus blue, ylang ylang, chocolate, Dorado Azul, Ocotea, amongst others. This farm's state-of-the-art distillery is the largest in South America.
And we also have our Finca Botanica clinic. Oh, Finca Botanica is the name of one of the farms. But there's a clinic there where you can have all kinds of amazing things done to you that you like that we cannot get done in the U.S.
Done for you.
Yes, for you. Yes, you can do.
Yes, for you.
Sorry, not to you, for you. That's better. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I even now. I haven't had nitro today or anything. For you. Sorry, for you.
But what I really like about this one is, ylang ylang. Like, the story alone of how that is harvested blows my mind, because literally, you can see the ylang ylang over here. And when if it's not, it looks a lot like it. Okay, they literally, they will take and they have to look at each bloom, and if the very center of it is red,
The red strip around the center.
then it's ready to harvest. If it doesn't have that, they just let go of it and they move to the next flower, hand by hand on that plant.
Yeah.
I'll love some yellow.
I can't wait because Young Living will send you and a friend when you're at platinum level to the farm for free. I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
Okay.
Friends.
I'm available if you need a friend.
Buddy system. And this is another one that's so amazing in France.
Provence, France is the home of our third farm. And it harvests or grows lavender, lavandin, rosemary, clary sage, and einkorn.
Yes, and we use the lavandin in purification because it helps with bugs.
Yes. Yeah, so that's what's crazy is the parasite didn't attack as much lavandin as it did lavender. And that's how you can kind of tell the difference is one is definitely much more of a repellent.
Well, and what's so cool is you don't have to be a Young Living member. Like I had one of my family members that went on my husband's side, and they're like, "What's this Young Living stuff? Hey, I live by there. Can I go to it?" I'm like, "Yeah, walk in." I mean, you don't have to be a Young Living member, but also a member.
Nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide. They will give you all the time of the day, which is amazing.
This is our newest farm,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, in Northern Lights, Canada. They're making. They already has a farm at the distillery, and they're building a spa.
This one was purchased in 2014, and it grows distills black spruce, ledum, yarrow, and other botanicals.
Yep.
Yes, this is where we get our wonderful oil for Valor.
That black spruce was the issue. So we couldn't get the sourcer that we were getting our black spruce from, wouldn't keep up the standards, and the standards were getting lower and lower and lower, and we were like, we don't want that. So we could have had Valor sooner, but Young Living was like, they much rather be something be out of stock than have a lower quality of oil. So then we just got our own farm. We're like, we don't need you, let's get our own farm. That's how Young Living rolls. So in Oman, we are the only company that is actually in relations with the government of Oman. So if other companies say that their oils come from Oman, they might ship them to Oman and then ship them out, but they are not actually grown and harvested with that country's consent. Yeah. So this is really cool too. And they were telling the story. So this is a frankincense tree, and they were talking about working with the indigenous people there that have always worked with frankincense, because you have to, you know how they're doing the resin tapping and scraping of the tree? I think it's like the third layer is where you get
Deeper.
Yeah.
Deeper.
Yeah, the third layer is where we get the resin for our oil. If you go to the fourth or the fifth, it will kill the tree. So you have to exactly know what you're doing to get that resin for that oil. So it's really cool. Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily go there. That's not really. And then Split, Croatia. So that is helichrysum, and that is goldenrod. And they actually were, and it took a really long time because helichrysum was one, again, that was, people were, they were very angry at first because nobody was able to get helichrysum. And all of a sudden, Young Living had helichrysum there. How are you doing it? Because we were the first ones to domesticate it. Usually it grows like in between limestone rocks. But what Young Living did is they got tons and tons of boulders, limestone boulders, and broke them up, and you can see them now. They're all throughout the soil, and that's how they're able to grow the helichrysum. Because it was wildcraft before. So you would see when they were getting the lavender, they just cut the tops off. They were pulling the whole plants up. So the plants are disappearing and not being taken care of. So that's why that country had kind of stopped that. So again, Young Living's mistaken.
And that one was founded in 2015.
Yes, it's brand new.
We believe that you and your family deserve products that are genuine, free from synthetic chemicals, of unmatched purity. Seed to Seal is both a promise to you and a reflection of our sense of global stewardship.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Again, they're going above and beyond, and I cannot express to you what it's like to actually be at that farm. And yes, a convention is lots of hoopla and fun stuff. But again, you can go at any time. We might be going up in the fall because there's always something to be harvested or distilled or planted. So whenever you get a chance, go to any farms that you want to, because it's an amazing.
Yeah, you'll get emails about plantings or harvestings or distillations, just welcoming you, asking for help.
And they really want you to work. Like, you don't just sit there and take pictures. So like, what are you gonna do? Here's your job. Because for a long time they were having people that were just showing up to take pictures, and we're like, no, we gotta produce some oils. Come on. So I mean, we had like our guys that went up to that last harvest. They were like working out for months ahead of time, so they could actually do the jobs when they got there, which is pretty cool. Yes, so that is our Seed to Seal class. We wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet tonight, but I mean, it's important because you see oils everywhere. What makes Young Living different? And this is just some of the things that we have really taken home, and why we choose personally to use our Young Living oils in our family, and not other ones. So yeah. Thank you, ladies, for your time. Do you guys have any questions at all?
Where do you buy the, I saw